Hello everybody, and today is a tactical video about the Necron Praetorians. A quick little talk before we start the video. No matter what I've done with these, I cannot make these competitive. Okay? They have far too many weaknesses for the points, and for the points you can take better units for their role. So let's go over what I mean by that now. The biggest problem I have with these, they have no dynasty keyword, which fluff-wise makes sense because they outrank the overlords, so they're in charge basically. So that's okay fluff-wise, but their stats absolutely suck. They only do 1 damage, no matter what weapon option they have, so they're not that good in melee. They have no invuln save, so they're very easy to gun down, and it's very easy to lose them in melee. So we basically have a melee unit which doesn't do much damage in melee and dies very easily in melee. The two options is the Rod of the Covenant. This was a really good weapon in 7th edition, but now it's just a strength 5, -3, 1 damage gun. Not that good. And the second option is, you can take a pistol and a Void Blade, so you get +1 attack, -3, again 1 damage. So if you take a full unit, that's 30 attacks. Sounds good, but it's not that good. Because most of the time when you're over at your opponent's area, they either shot you to death, or they got something nastier and cheaper that kicks your butt. Okay, but the good point they do have fly. There's a very good feature, they have fearless, when 8th edition is called a purpose unshakable. So basically, if you lose 9, 1 hides, you can reanimate, you haven't got to do morale tests on them. So that is the only good thing about them. HQ buff wise, because they don't have the dynasty keyword, there's only 2 HQs I believe that can actually buff these. So, and again they're very expensive, and they can't keep up with them because these are much faster. They move 10 inches as the HQs move 5. And you have to advance the HQs to keep up with them, and they will fly, so it becomes a problem. And another key point I would say about these, if you are determined to take some nice melee units, unfortunately, okay, I would recommend Lynch Guard over these, and Lynch Guard still suck. If you give them the dynasty, they automatically get 6 in advance, and they have the fly keyword basically, every move of his. So Lich Guard can be just as fast as these, and do a lot more damage, because they can do strength 7, flat 2, or they can take the shields and a 4 invuln and have a strength 6 sword. So it's easy to kill those toughness 5 units. So, or you can take a unit of Wraiths, and Wraiths are much better again than these or Lich Guard. So if you want a reanimation element, go Lich Guard, or if you want speed and just stop and power, the Wraiths. Okay? These are really, I love these units, but competitive games, they just don't work. So I'm going to set the board now, and I'm going to go through the only way I can seem to get them to work. Okay then, let's go over the board, shall we? We have a Demon Prince over there. That could be anything. It could be shield captains, it could be something that's hard to kill. Basically, a good invuln save, and does more than 2 damage in the combat phase. So it could be a Gorkanaut, it could be a Girlyman. Stuff like that, you want to stay away from with things like this, because they just cannot damage stuff. Strength 5 with 1 damage is just not enough. Okay, and over there we have Bloodletters, and so on. They can be replaced with Imperial Guard, or any sort of squishy, like Fire Warriors, any squishy units that have a pain in the butt. I find the best way to use these is to go after the squishy stuff, and just try and get objectives with them. These cannot go up against shield captains, those little guys with the thunder hammers and stuff. They just can't do it. And if you run up at a really powerful unit, okay. Another problem I have, I get into combat, I might take like 3 or 4 wounds off it, and then he brings the rest of his stuff in. So no matter what you do, these guys will die if you go straight at a melee unit, because he'll always counter charge you, or he'll bring something else in to finish you off, or he'll fall back and shoot you. So you basically want to use these guys. They're expensive, but you want to use these guys to cause pressure and try to get objectives. But they're a very expensive unit to do that. Let's look at the board now, okay? Let's pretend it's not the opponent has the setup. The best side of the board to pick right now, because this one's got more terrain. This may seem like the better option, but it's not. Okay, the middle's got a nice bit of line of sight blocking terrain there, which I made. Very cool. We got this here, and we got the wall there, and another wall at the back, okay? Believe it or not, the best position to put these in is this side. Your turn 1, because I made these a while ago, so they still got holes in the bottom, so you can still see through them. So turn 1, they'll have a 2-up save and they'll get shot at. Most of the time, they won't try and shoot the melee units until turn 2, because that's when they're a threat. So the majority of the time, turn 1, they should be relatively safe. Okay, so turn 1, you put them all in the building here. Okay, so we have the Praetorians in the building. Turn 1, you can have your tanks and so on, wherever you want them, or wherever your strategy is. The reason why I picked this side of the board is because of this. You basically need to jump from line of sight blocking terrain to line of sight blocking terrain. And unfortunately, if you play on a board that has bad terrain, these will just die. There's nothing you can do to save them. But if you are playing ITC missions or ITC terrain, they are actually okay to use because you have places to hide. So turn 1, you want to advance them, try and get them behind the wall here. Oops, I haven't magnetised them yet. And make sure you touch the terrain with all your models, so you get 2 up. They move 10 inches plus your advance, so you probably get one of 13 on average. So turn 2 then, you should be able to charge anything that side of the board. Okay? And not only that, it makes it hard for them to kill these. Because now you have to bring things out just to shoot these. But if you have Wraiths, Tomb Blades, Tesseract Arcs shooting over here, majority of the time you'd rather shoot these at the back because they're more dangerous. And then your turn 2 then, you get your 10-inch move with Fly. So turn 2, we should be engaged with squishy targets, hopefully on an objective marker, and then charge something you know you can kill. Preferably something toughness 4 or lower, because you do not want to assault anything toughness 5 because they're so weak. So you turn 2, then you jump over your line of sight blocking terrain. You shoot your pistols at something and you charge. But try not to shoot the pistol at the unit you're charging, okay? Because if you like, say 4 or 5 inches away and you kill 3 or 4, you'll take it from the front and you charge that a little bit further away. Because a good player will take it from the front and then you'll have that much further to charge. Unfortunately, that is the only way I can make these work. They just don't have the firepower and they don't have the survivability for the points. And it absolutely sucks. You have to have good terrain to use them. So if you just play on a normal board, like you go to like the normal game workshops, like all the buildings have openings everywhere, they're going to get shot to pieces and they'll die. And the biggest problem you have is almost every other race has a cheaper and a better melee unit than us. Like in my last battle report, one orc war boss took 4 of those. Just like that, bang. And if he had the charge off, he would have done way more damage. You know, one little model, those shield captains, the guys on the bike, the toughness 6 custodies, they're such a pain to kill. That toughness 6 is annoying. They'll come in, they'll whack, kill a few of them, you hit them back, you might get 1 or 2 wounds in because you got 1 damage, which sucks, the Praetorians. And then, if he's smart, he'll bring in something else from the side, and a good player, right, will surround your Necrons in melee, so you cannot reanimate. So be very careful of that as well. So when you're charging with these, when you charge, you want as biggest gap as you possibly can, and go in there. And that way, and depending on how the board is, how the units are, you can take your dead pile from like one from the middle here. So if you've got a close unit here, you can't surround this way. And like take 1 from here and like 1 from here. So that way, and it's much harder to surround you to stop your reanimation. But if you took your 4 dead from here, then you can come around here and then his piling phase, like so. Closest unit. Bringing these like here, and maybe jump something over here, flies, and assault you here. These may be squishy, and if they don't die, they can stop reanimation, and if he brings in a nasty unit. So that is another tip right there, is maximise your space with melee Necron units. And I'm sorry about the short video, but unfortunately they're so bad, there's just no way you can play these competitive. And the only way you have a chance to gain your points back is if you play them like that. And unfortunately, because they do such little damage, you have to run them in units of 10 just for the chance of them living. So if you want to play a more competitive way with Praetorians, you might want to look into the Lich Guard in the Necron Dynasty. So they automatically get 11 inches with their advance, they'll have fly, and they're a lot harder to kill, and they hit a lot harder. So you could take them with the war scythes for the flat 2, which is very much needed. Most of our weapons is just flat 1, it's so annoying. Or you could take the 4-up invuln shield, which should be a free up, but it's not, and just hope they live. But the second turn charge will be harder because they won't have fly. So you have to position yourself a bit better. But you will have more options because you can chuck them out in the open if they have the 4-up invuln. Okay, and you can also then, if you take Lich Guard instead of Praetorians, you can take them with a character, because the character will buff them. So if you want some extra stopping power, you take an Overlord, with My Will Be Done, so they hit on 2s. Or if you want to live a bit better, you take them with a Cryptek. So that way you have more options, more synergy, and then you can also like wrap some Tomb Blades around them as well. So you get like a little Death Star in the middle, some Lich Guards to attack back if someone comes at you. So that is my problem with Praetorians. They're so expensive and they're so bad. Well, you can take another unit that's cheaper and does a better job. Like Race, for example. They move so much faster and you get turn 1 charged off with them with 1 command point. With those, you're relying on terrain, you're relying on your opponent to make mistakes. If they even make it into combat with a good opponent, they won't last long. Because unfortunately, they just don't do enough damage to kill things like this. Oh, look at the dust on that. Dusty Demon Prince. That's my wife's, by the way. Okay. If they make it to combat with that, they're going to get their ass handed to them. Like a Girlyman, shield captains, anything with a good save, they just die. They just die so quick. So my point is, if you want to truly go melee, go a different unit. But if you love these, that's the only way. Just hope you have a good piece of terrain to hide them in turn 1. Turn 2, hide them out line of sight from most of the nasty stuff. And then jump out, do some damage, kill the squishies and go for some objectives. They're basically objective clearers. And when the rest of your army can focus on the other nasty stuff. So, thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next video.